A very good morning to you all, and thank you to the media for honouring our invitation. We have invited you to this press briefing to announce members of the Mayoral Committee that will work alongside me to take the City of Tshwane into the future and advance the interests of our residents. I know that both yourselves, as the media, and most importantly, our residents, have been waiting for this announcement since my re-election as the Executive Mayor of Tshwane on the 23rd of November of this year. As I stated during my acceptance speech in Council, it is indeed a great honour and a privilege to once again be entrusted with leading our capital city. However, no man is an island, as I said before. Governing our city is going to require a strong team that can work jointly together. Over the last few weeks, we have been working hard to craft a coalition government that ensures that we put our residents first. The results of the November 2021 elections have placed an important responsibility on elected political party representatives in Council to ensure that we work together. The only way we can succeed is if we put aside our political differences and make the interests of our residents the top priority. The election results have indeed reinforced the need for stable coalitions to drive quality service delivery. And so I'm pleased to announce that we have finally found one another and reached a multi-party agreement. Before I introduce the team, it's important that I briefly outline our administration's priorities. Having already had 1 year in office as the Executive Mayor, the path ahead for me is clear in terms of what is expected to take our city forward and to ensure quality service delivery. My focus on core basic service delivery remains, as the day-to-day operations of the city must be enhanced and improved upon. This includes improving our response times and ability to manage electricity outages. As you've seen for the past few weeks, we've had numerous, and water leaks, ensuring that potholes are repaired, maintaining our open public spaces and repairing sewerage lines. Both our electricity and water infrastructure in Tshwane are aging rapidly. This results in frequent power outages and high levels of water losses. The last week's event at Mayoral has highlighted this once again. This is why I will be ensuring that the city is focused on maintaining and refurbishing critical infrastructure. Another core priority is stabilising the city's finances to protect the institution and ensure the sustainability of the municipality. To achieve these core service deliverables and many others, we have created a robust plan which is based on the following 10 key interventions. I know this aligns with much of what our coalition partners hope to achieve as well. The first priority is the prioritization of the electrical grid and water infrastructure, to provide stringent financial management and oversight, to promote employment and economic growth in the city, to enhance city safety and emergency services, to maintain a clean and protected natural environment, to develop road infrastructure and advance mobility, to support the vulnerable and providing social relief, to modernize and digitize of city processes, to promote good governance, accountability and transparency, to implement a robust COVID-19 management strategy. Now, moving to the business of the day, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the team of MMCs that will work with me in implementing our 10-point plan for quality service delivery. I would ask that as I introduce each MMC, that they stand up. MMC for Finance and also Lead of Executive Business, Alderman Peter Sutton from the DA. MMC for Human Settlements, Councillor Abel Tau from Action SA. MMC for Community Safety, Alderman Grundy Tienesens from the VF Plus. MMC for Roads and Transport, Councillor Dikeledi Saloa from the DA. MMC for Economic Development and Spatial Planning, Councillor Andre Leroux from Action SA. MMC for Health, Councillor Rina Marx, VF+. MMC for Social Development and Community Services, Councillor Peggy De Bruin, Action SA. MMC for Corporate and Shared Services, Councillor Kingsley Wakeland from the DA. MMC for Utility Services, Councillor Philip Nell. Unfortunately, Councillor Philip Nell is already travelling on holidays, so unfortunately, because the coalition was announced late, he already started his year-end leave, so MMC Nell is currently travelling. The MMC for Environment and Agriculture, and also MMC Nell was the previous MMC for Utility Services for the year that we were in government before the elections. The MMC for Environment and Agriculture will be finalised in due course. In the meantime, I've asked MMC Dikeledi Siloa to act in this portfolio. This position will be finalised in January after we have concluded our council meetings in the new year. I'm pleased to have a team of individuals that are fit and ready to serve the people of Tshwane. This team has been chosen after careful consideration as we take these appointments very seriously. We will need to hit the ground running as there's much work that needs to be done. Furthermore, I'd like to assure our residents that I will hold the team to the highest standards as this administration is truly committed to the principles of clean governance and ensuring quality service delivery. That's the end of my speech. Thank you very much. Sipho.
Thank you, Mayor, and now it's time for the media to show their questions. I know you are probably very excited. It's been a very long week, so you can shoot ahead. All right, who's the master? EMCA. Anyone else? All right, I think we'll go with the first two from New Zealand, Africa, followed by EMCA. If you can just sit up and project a bit.
I've got 3 questions.
Sure.
The first one to the mayor is about 3 weeks ago you were very emphatic that you don't want to run a minority government instead wishing for a coalition with other parties. So now I'm curious to find out what the outcomes of those discussions have been. Clearly what are the terms of your arrangements with the other parties which have resulted in you forming what you call a multi-party government. And, obviously, my second question is, the past 5 years were very tumultuous for the Democratic Alliance. After things fell off in the EFF, are you confident that these arrangements with these other parties will hold for the next 5 years? And lastly, the ANC has said they will not build any candidates for the council positions. Is that something that surprises or even worries you?
ENCA?
Mayor, it's Govind from ENCA. Could you just tell us what happened with your decision to leave the environmental portfolio open for now? Have I got that correct? It's the environmental one? And why start the administration with someone acting in that position? Secondly, what is the number of seats that your mayoral committee or this coalition represents in council? Is it 50 plus 1? I mean, this multi-party coalition that you have, does it represent the majority in council or the minority? Is it the same multi-party coalition that comes from the committee that the Democratic Alliance was talking about yesterday?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll then start with this. The first question asked by News from Africa will also answer the second question of ENCA. When I said we don't want a minority government, we want to have a coalition that represents a majority. Well, in terms of the coalition agreement, we now have 109 seats in council. So to have a majority in council, you need 108. So we've got 109 seats. This is actually the first time that, and this also answers your second question. When we started in 2016, we did not have a majority coalition. The coalition that we have with the FF Plus or VF Plus, ACDP and COPE only gave us 98 seats when we started in 2016, and we were dependent on the EFF voting with us in order to achieve a majority. So this time around, it's different. We're starting out with a majority coalition. And as far as the ANC not fielding any candidates, well, obviously they would have tried to put a coalition together to have 108 seats in council. And once you don't achieve that number, look, you can field candidates, but knowing that you don't have a majority of vote in council, it will be very difficult for you to get your candidate elected. So I think they saw the futility of it, because you must remember Tshwane happened after Joburg and Mogale City. And they saw what happened there. The fact that they didn't manage to achieve a majority through coalition negotiations, they still put forward candidates, and their candidates were not elected. So they then decided in Tshwane, I think it's futile to put forward a candidate, and that's why probably they didn't field any candidate. As far as the environmental portfolio is concerned, we're still busy finalizing the coalition agreement as far as the one position is concerned, and also there are other outstanding issues. But all these issues will then be finalized once we have our council meeting end of January, and that's why. And there's nothing wrong for an MMC to act in another's portfolio. It happens all the time. It's probably going to happen a lot now over the Christmas period, where MMCs will be acting on behalf of others. Sipo?
Thank you, Executive Mayor. I don't know if you guys have a second round of questions, but I'd also like to remind you that you will have an opportunity to speak with the new MMCs that have been announced if you're interested. Once we have concluded here, there will also be a photo opportunity for all of you, as they will also be taking new photos in their new portfolios. So let's go with second round. Patricia, ESA again. Sure, number 3 there. Cool. Patricia.
Patricia Kasai for the SAPC. To what extent was gender equality, racial demographics, and transformation considered when this committee was obviously put together? Was that a priority? And are you satisfied as far as those elements are concerned when we look at the selection that we see in front of us, in particular when it comes to the racial demographics part of it, and of course the gender equality? How do you respond to that as far as that is concerned when we look at the committee in front of us?
Right, okay. Govin?
Mayor, is this a 10-party coalition? How many parties are in this coalition? How will you, or what's your comment on how you're going to manage that with so many different parties in the coalition? You're not concerned that it will impact on your ability to render effective services in the city?
Is that all, Cousin?
Yeah.
All right, cool. If you may go there, back.
Mayor Sibahla from Jacaranda FM. Just in connection with the electricity crisis at Mayoral substation, can we hear it from the mayor himself, just assurance to the residents being supplied by that substation? I mean, turnaround times have been shift here. It's almost 2 weeks that some residents are without electricity. Maybe some words rather of assurances to the residents from the mayor himself. Thank you.
Over to you, Ian.
Yeah, I'm just counting the parties. What's Inkatha? What is in IFT?
Oh, but which one doesn't have IFT, do it?
Yeah. ACDP. Okay, thank you for that mathematical exercise that I had to go through. But before I get there, as far as gender equality, transformation, race, The coalition agreement that was signed by all the parties, has an overarching principle that whoever is appointed as MMC must be fit for purpose. That's the overarching principle. We're not going to play a percentages, numbers game on that one is black, that one is white, and I go according to that. We look at abilities of people, because when you deliver services, you need someone that is able to deliver the service, not whether that person is black or white. That is not our game. Our game is to give the residents the best services possible. And to get that, you need the best person in the position. And with that being said, there are 5 MACO members from the DA. The DA determined who the individuals should be in those positions. Then 3 of the positions went to Action SA. They determined who should be in that position. Same with the VF+. They determined who are the best candidates for those positions. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the residents want qualified people to perform the function. Then, as far as ENCA is concerned, we are now 6 parties that constitute the coalition. If the ANC had to put a coalition together, they would have need at least 11 parties. So we were in a much better position to put a coalition together. As far as Jacaranda is concerned, Mooikloof, we've put all the possible resources at Mooikloof. We made all the possible resources available. To build a substation normally takes 6 months. We did it in 9 days. Within 9 days, the substation was up and running again. What we find now, we find additional faults in the infrastructure, which is away from the Mooikloof substation. So that is what the officials are fixing. We have an area of infrastructure of 6,300 square kilometers, which for many decades have been poorly maintained. And every time we have, for example, load shedding, it puts severe stress on our infrastructure. And that's why I've also taken a decision going forward. Substations like Mooikloof and Wapatran that are extremely vulnerable will no longer be load shedded, to save those substations from further harm, from further damage. So what we are fixing now are, for example, underground cables that are faulty, smaller substations that are faulty, so they are busy fixing that, and that's what affecting Mooikloof. But Mooikloof now, Section C they're busy testing. There are 3 sections at Mooikloof substation. Section A is up and running, Section B is up and running, Section C they're testing, and the people that get their distribution from Section E, that power will be restored by 6 p.m. tonight. Starting from 6 p.m. we will have a phased switch on, because you can't overload the substation immediately. It has to be a phased switch on that will last several hours. Sipho?
All right, thank you, Ian. Is there a final third round of questions? As I mentioned, there will be opportunity to engage with the MMCs directly, and I think the EM is also available for one-on-ones if you have any further questions. So, but this is the third round. All right.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to find out, there is a water crisis in the Mayoral municipality, specifically to speak about the Tabi. So how do you plan on tackling that issue? Because it's been an ongoing issue for quite some time. Thank you.
All right, Newsroom Africa.
Switching on later today. Are you saying that all the affected areas, or those that remain in the gap right now, by the end of the day today, even that being later in the day, will have their power restored? And then we also keep my interest. You say those, some power stations under the city of Tshwane will no longer be load shed. Is that a commitment that, what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the water issue. there's now a new MMC for utilities. When there are crises like this will be tackled. I haven't been briefed on it, but I'm sure my MMCs will follow up on that issue now. As far as Pretoria East is concerned, I said two things. The one I said, I referred to the substation, where the substation is up and running. The second thing I referred to is the infrastructure around it, the distribution network. We found faults. There are also faults at many substations that need to be fixed. So that's why I said we'll have the whole substation up and running, but we will continue to fix the smaller problems that we encounter once people are restored. So you will find individual faults. So far with Section A, we switched on 60% of the surrounding areas. The other 40% get their distribution from Section C of the Mayoral substation. But switching on Section C doesn't necessarily mean that power will be totally restored. You might encounter smaller faults where we will have to send our teams to fix that as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you everybody for your questions. And just one request, EM, from the media, just for to recall the names of the MMCs, so and then have just a handshake or a fist bump with them, each one from his portfolio. They didn't have a chance then because some of it was live and they had to focus on you. Hello.
Okay.
So you'll just have to do it over here. And then fist bump.
Yeah, this fist bump. I hope I don't get Omicron by fist bumping.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll call the, let me put on my mask. Okay. The first MMC will be Alderman Peter Sutton. First one, or whatever, and have your, stand like that and have your photo taken. Fine, thank you. And then Abel Tau, Councillor Abel Tau from Action SA, the MMC for Human Settlements. Thank you. And then Alderman Grandi Tiernison from the VF Plus, who's now the MMC for Community Safety. Okay, thank you very much. And then Councillor Dikoledi Siloa from the DA, who's MMC for Roads and Transport, and will also be acting in environment for the time being. Thank you very much. Then Councillor Ande Leroux, who's the MMC for Economic Development and Spatial Planning from Action SA. Maybe you should turn the other way so you can face the photo. Yeah. No, just bump. Don't worry, it's not going to bite. Thank you. Okay. And then Councillor Rina Marks from the VF Plus, who's the MMC for Health. Thank you. Okay. And then Councillor Peggy De Bruin from Action SA, who's the MMC for Social Development and Community Services. Thank you very much. And then Councillor Kingsley Wakeland from the DA, MMC for Corporate and Shared Services. Thank you very much. And then MMC now is traveling, unfortunately. So that's the end of it.
All right. Thank you, Ian. So now you can perhaps go for your one-on-ones, indicate who you would like to speak to in terms of the MMCs, but also those that are available, they can then go for an photo opportunity over there, the MMCs. However, if media wants to interact with you, you can do so. Yeah.
And the group photo.
And the group photo.
Okay. Start with the group photo before the one-on-one.
Sure.
We'll move the tables.
No, it's okay. You don't have to move the table. Just have to stand one with
Let's move those tables.